Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Pork Chopper here, and today bringing you my first proper version 42 guide, being a quick guide to start you all with deck building, how it works in game and during the deck building process to make the transition to the new system easier for you. I will be doing plenty of Paragon guides, builds and live commentaries, so do subscribe and check out the rest of my channel for that. So let's begin with the start. Whenever building a deck now, it's not locked to a certain hero, but affinities instead. So once you decide to build a deck, you need to choose 2 affinities to pick from. I would recommend browsing through all the cards first to really get a good look at what may interest you. This will help out a lot when knowing what kind of deck you want to build. I will be doing videos over the best cards for certain roles like jungle or playstyles like being a tank over the next week or so do stick around for that. Once you have chosen those 2 affinities you wish to make a deck with, then you proceed to start picking the cards you want. My biggest advice here is to focus purely on 2 attributes. If you don't know, there are 3 attributes in the game now: agility, vitality and intellect. So how do they work? Well, in an actual game you purchase attribute points with 1000 gold. Each attribute has its own stat scaling. If upgrading agility, it will give you attack speed and basic armor, vitality will give you health and health regen, and intellect will give you mana and mana regen. So to acquire cards you need the correct amount of attribute points available. The in-game design shows the amount of attribute points you have in total and the ones available. Because say you have 7 agility points in total, but you have already spent 4 on another card, that means you only have 3 left to spend. Each attribute has a max of 25 levels, so with your 3 equipped cards you cannot exceed that amount with 1 attribute. At certain levels in the attributes are gems, but we'll get into that in just a second. So even in a really good game, you aren't going to get enough gold to make each attribute a high level. With this Grunk Spot game with me destroying and it lasting over 30 minutes, I was only able to purchase around 30 to 35 attribute points to just give you an idea. So in this jungle deck I am making now, I am focusing on vitality and agility cards, but I put an 8 intellect card in there too. That would mean I would have to spend a whole 8,000 gold on intellect attribute points to just have the option to equip this card, while all my other cards focused on vitality and agility is not efficient and a very easy mistake to make when new to this building system. The only other advice I would give here when building decks is to have 3 early game cards which you can get really early on. For example, I make sure in every deck pretty much I make that at the start of the game with the 1000 gold I get, I buy an attribute point, and with that point unlocks a card I can equip straight away, being as efficient as possible. If you buy one of these attributes right at the start of the game but you don't have a card to equip with it, you won't be as efficient as other heroes may be on the map, which could give you a disadvantage. Then I have around 4 mid-game cards with plenty of options here. Mid-game cards cost a total of around 5 to 10 attribute points in total. Then I would have 4 late-game cards, which is my end build, and I know I'm going to always have these cards late game. You can only have a max of 3 cards equipped in a game at once, but having a 4th late game card gives you options. This makes it a lot easier to build these decks to start with, making sure, okay, these are the late game cards I'm going to have, these are the early game cards I have, and then sort of fill the middle with the mid game cards you want to get from early game to late game. And to that note, I really think 12 cards max for a deck is more than enough. Most times I don't even max the decks out. So once you finish your card selections, you go onto your attributes and gems. You can equip these gems at certain levels in each attribute, being level 1, 7, 13, 19 and 25. You can have up to 6 gems slotted in any of the attributes in any order. So for example, I can have 1 in the 4th slot of intellect, 1 in the 3rd slot of vitality, with slot 1 and slot 2 in the vitality attribute not being used up. So this gives a lot of freedom how you want to build your deck if you want more gems in the late stages of the game or in the early stages of the game. Look through the gems and see with the deck you have made what suits it. Because I just made a vitality and agility themed deck, I know the ones I'm going to be upgrading the most, so I focus my gems in those slots. There are plenty of gems to choose from, and the higher the slot the better the gem will be. I'll be doing plenty of videos on gems which suits what role very soon, so stay on the channel for that. So once you have locked all the gems in, then boom, you are done. Name the deck and then test it out. Now while the bot game is going on, I'm going to give you a few extra tips I have experienced while playing from old habits. Number 1, remember to buy your attribute points in the field when you have enough gold. You don't have to back to buy them, you only need to back to base to equip or unequip cards. Look at what cards you want next and how many attribute points you need, then start to purchase those required attribute points to get that specific card. When looking at the attributes, you can see what upgrading that attribute will give you, and also the gems you have in that attribute, which ones are unlocked and what ones you still need to unlock by leveling it up. The design of this is very simple and looks really nice. Attributes at gem levels give you additional bonuses too without even having gems in them, so that's something else to note. But that about does it for this very simple deck guide, not just going over how the deck and attribute system now works, but some very important tips on how to build decks focusing on certain attributes and being efficient so you can dominate in Agora. Like always, if you enjoy my content, subscribe, like and share, it helps me out tremendously, and I will see you all next time.